You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Drink it in, my brother. Drink it in. Good to be back. Have the
Oh,
band
man.
back together, and we're on the countdown for WrestleMania.
Dude, we are on the road to WrestleMania. And my goodness, take the Big Dick in, man. It is so good to hear from you, Big Dick. It's so good to see you, Big Dick. It's so good to feel you, Big Dick. I'm excited.
As am I, my friend.
I'm gonna cut the bullshit and get right to it. We are one night removed from Fastlane, and I want to tell you, I love that WWE has spent the last, 3 or 4 years building up all the independent, the Ring of Honor guys, and watching Goldberg just run through Kevin Owens last night in like 30 seconds. Goldberg is the man. Goldberg is the champion. Goldberg is going on to take on Brock Lesnar. He is your new Universal Champion. How about the vibe tonight? How about last night? Like, what do you think? It's surreal. Goldberg is the man again.
It's pretty nuts, man. Although I did notice, I actually just watched the main event again last night, maybe like 5 minutes of action, 4 of which were Kevin Owens running around the outside of the ring. But if you watch the main event, you'll notice that they talk about all the training Goldberg's been going through. During that training, he skipped leg day every single time.
He what?
He skipped leg day. He has like no definition.
You're making a joke. You're making a joke.
Yes, it was a joke. I'm making a joke about his physique. It looks like, obviously he works out upper body, but lower body, it looks like he's just like, walking a lot. But, he is world champion.
He certainly is. He is the guy. He is the champion now. And honestly, I thought he'd win. I wasn't so sure it would be that convincingly, but rolling into WrestleMania, have we ever seen a wrestler have this sort of run? I don't even think 80s Hogan or Ultimate Warrior can boast going over the most dominant wrestler of their era, Lesnar, and then going over the champion in a squash match. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. I don't think we've ever seen someone so dominant as Goldberg is.
Yeah, this has been a nice run. My only fear is that the WWE match at the WrestleMania is going to be like a 5-minute match. And
it's got to be a real match. They just can't keep letting him run through everyone, and he's certainly not going to get ran through at WrestleMania. I watched tonight's segment with Brock Lesnar, and it was interesting that Paul Heyman honored Goldberg the way that he did initially, and then basically said, well, we want to shake your hand, and Brock Lesnar wants to shake your hand because you won the world title and you've given us the chance to be the champion, and you're a dominant force, we're a dominant force, and we respect your game. But then he basically said, you know what? We brought Brock out here because he's the man that's going to beat you. He's the man that's going to win your title. And it looked like Brock Lesnar was going to try and shake Goldberg's hand, but Goldberg wanted none of it. Brock picks him up, F5s him, and leaves him in the middle of the ring. And Michael Cole makes a great point. Man, Brock was waiting a long time to F5 Goldberg. And to my knowledge, I don't remember Brock getting F5'd outside of the Royal Rumble in 2003, in which he got eliminated from the Royal Rumble by Brock Lesnar, who wasn't even in the match. That's the only time I could really remember Brock getting over on Goldberg. It was amazing, and I don't know. I just don't see Brock Lesnar beating Goldberg at WrestleMania. I don't know about you. I just don't see it happening, even though it's logical.
I think it's gonna be one of those things. I think where it'll play out as contracts dictate, and by that I think that I don't know. Goldberg originally is a one-time thing. He's come back come back till WrestleMania. I would think that if he's under contract with WWE, it's probably ending pretty soon. So I'm afraid that word's going to get out, like similar to WrestleMania 20 when he fought, that one of them's leaving and everybody's going to know the ending. But I think at the same time, I think that the universe is so fucking got a hard on for this match. I think that they can look past that a little bit. And ultimately, I think Lesnar wins the title to build him up as for yet another run as a champion, like he was maybe 2 years ago, or a year and a half, 2 years ago, where he was fucking running through everybody.
I just love how everybody's so against Cena and Reigns, and yet everyone's accepting of Goldberg, and it just shows you, that's really being over. I mean, really being over. And there's something about the guys that were in the WCW and the Attitude Era. They just knew how to get over, man, and they're still over till this day,
Yeah, and I mean, the WWE fans, they're smart fans. They spend a lot of time on the internet. They're smart fans. They know what a legend looks like Undertaker. I mean, he could have came out and fucking procked Braun Strowman, and he would have got cheered out of the building, like he did anyway.
Yeah, and it's funny, because you get on all these little forums, and you see all these fucking internet people that are, like, hating on everything, and then then Goldberg gets to a pay-per-view and everybody's up his ass. Everybody wants him to win. And it's just so funny how the second these guys come out, it's same with The Rock. These guys will be, oh, we went to Rock, part-timer, take it. But the minute Rock comes out, they're all lined up, and they kiss his ass one by one.
This is awesome. Like, those guys are by far the most guys. They're over for their lives. I mean, the same thing, Kurt Angle.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, well, I think it's accepted that all the little bastards are gonna be, going nuts for Angle anyway. So I think that's gonna happen, and I think they're all ready to mark out for him. But Goldberg, I remember when they said he was gonna come back, and how many people I read their comments like, I don't want to see Goldberg. He wasn't interesting in 2003. He's not gonna be interesting now. Are you kidding me? He's been the biggest thing on TV in years, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, it's like, it's just amazing. Like, okay, you know what? He beat Lesnar clean. Lesnar is a fucking monster. He just beat Owens, whose reign, and this is 2016, 2017 we're talking here. His title reign was 180 plus days. He wasn't a transitional champion.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree.
That's probably that type of reign in 1980s equivalent is probably about a 2 or 3 year reign.
I would agree. You know what's awesome though? I would totally agree. I just, the more I think about it, I just love that McMahon, despite like the whole WCW thing, I love that McMahon jerks off to Goldberg, because thank goodness he does. Because the fact that Vince jerks off to Goldberg is why we're getting to watch this dominant run. Like, he loves him. He just there was no doubt Goldberg got paid out to go to basically put Lesnar over, and they did not expect Goldberg to come back the way he did. I totally think that they never had the intention for this to play out to WrestleMania. Seriously, I don't think they did. I don't think they could have even remotely imagined Goldberg to be this over. I think it was a one-match thing for WWE 2K17, and they just realized there's a demand for this guy. There's a huge demand for this guy. I think that's exactly what happened. And I'm glad
I know the video game sales were freaking off the charts.
And it wasn't just the video game sales though, but anybody listening can hear. I mean, you can tell. I mean, you can hear it. The crowd's so behind him, and then that gets me to my second point, Braun Strowman, right? Like, here's a guy that, I have not been behind this guy, and he's slowly winning everybody over, and, especially his match with Big Show, which was so awesome.
Oh, that was sort of the point where I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? It's like, he's a legitimate, he's a big guy. He's like 6'8", 400 pounds, whatever, but he's pretty agile in the ring, and he can put on a 10-minute match.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty impressive.
That match was so great because I've never seen two guys get over the way they did in that match. It's like, Big Show showed the world that he still had it. and Strowman showed the world he could put on a good match with basically anybody when he was questioned if he could put on a good match with anybody. So, and then he goes and does it with anybody. And, I was really disappointed and surprised to see Roman Reigns beat him clean last night. I was actually shocked. I mean, there goes your investment. And the reason I have such a problem with it is because I remember back to Finn Balor and, listen, I watched him all throughout NXT and that's fine. So I know how they booked him in NXT to be just a dominant player. But, for the child that watches WWE Raw only or SmackDown only, that child watched this man burst on the scene, beat Roman Reigns his first night, and then beat Seth Rollins in his next match for the title. So, Roman Reigns survived that, and he put Balor over. And I think a lot of people forget that even happened. No one is going to forget that Strowman lost this match. That was terrible booking. And then for him to back away from The Undertaker tonight when The Undertaker made an appearance.
No, God, that was fucking embarrassing.
Like, what are they doing? Why did they just ruin Braun Strowman like this?
Yeah, I could think of, which it doesn't really give it I was thinking that, Strowman, I would have loved to see Strowman, Reigns, and The Undertaker in a match. And I'm thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe that's going to happen here. Just walking away from ring made him look weak. The only thing I could think of is perhaps they're going to put on a wrestling match. Yeah, or what I've seen, I read like an article too about it or some shit about basically Shaq. It doesn't want to fight Big Show anymore because he's so
Why?
out.
So why?
Because he's like really out of shape.
So Shaq's pulling out.
That I've heard that, and I think Big Show like called him out on Twitter for it. Could be a work, but that could have been one of the reasons they didn't involve him with the Reigns and take a match.
Yeah.
Maybe going against Big Show on the pre-show or some shit like that, or maybe like just one of the regular matches there. But overall, I feel like the pay-per-views getting to the point where it's pretty stacked. I'm stoked about really, I think all three of the Raw matches that we have: Lesnar, Goldberg, Jericho, and what's his name? And then the triple threat match for the women. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with the tag team match, but that's interesting to see how that.
Who cares, man? Who cares? But what about Strowman though? Why did Reigns go over him though? I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? I thought yesterday, and I read a couple people, and it made perfect sense for saying like, hey, you know what? It's like have Undertaker come out, interfere, cost the match, and guess what? Protect Strowman. Reigns, God knows he can take a loss there. But I don't know. I think they're just trying to really get him over to fight the Undertaker. Which doesn't really make sense because he's over enough to fight him anyway.
I just don't get it. I mean, wouldn't it have made sense to have Undertaker interfere in that match?
That's what I read a lot of people were saying. Like, why didn't he just interfere and cost
even if it's double disqualification or something? Like, Reigns did not need to win that match, nor did Strowman. I mean, they just should have booked that match. That was a stupid match to book.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a good match, and I'm gonna I'll give credit where credit is due because I think you'll get hung up in the hate for Roman Reigns. He's a good performer. He is a very good performer. Don't get me wrong. Some of the shit is getting or has gotten old for the WWE universe, but overall, he puts on a hell of a match.
I understand that, but I understand he puts on a good match, but I'm just again confused on why you'd build up Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely frustrating because, like you said, I mean, this last month or so, Strowman really come into his own. He's had more big time matches than he's had in 6 months or so of his career.
he's their guy. I thought they were building. I guess they've given up on him.
I don't know. I mean, I can see him sort of pump the brakes a little bit. You know what? If he takes on Big Show and wins it against Big Show, then you know what? The Raw after WrestleMania, who knows what happens?
True. Big Show. I'll tell you, he destroyed Rusev at Fastlane. That really surprised me. I mean, I knew they were pushing Show again, like back to the old school, but I was really surprised he just really ran through Rusev, and I kind of liked it. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool.
You know what? I'm actually gonna argue with you on that point because I was sort of watching this match, paying attention to it, and the match is maybe like 7-8 minutes. I'm guessing around maybe more, maybe a couple less. Let's say 5-10 minutes, and Show ultimately won after I think it was like 3 KO punches or something. He ended up winning. You have to remember, before the match, Rusev was pretty much knocked unconscious by Jinder Mahal.
That's a good point.
Then he got up like right at the end of the match, after probably about 10 minutes, and got Mahal's attention and cost him the match.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't want to take too much away from Rusev. Don't get me wrong. And I think Rusev could have used that win too, but I think it sort of goes to show you what they're.
I think Rusev's okay though. I mean, I think he's in a good spot. You know what I mean? Where he's been booked pretty good. He's been in a lot. He's consistently on TV. So I'm not worried about Rusev. I think he's in a good spot, and you can book him, back into the mix anytime you want. So definitely not concerned about him. But
I don't know. We haven't had that show in a while, and I told you that I thought that the Festival of Friendship was possibly the best thing I've seen on TV in about 5 years.
It was amazing, the Festival of Friendship.
Dude, I was fucking dying when they had the girls come out, and literally like Jericho's walking down, like leading the showgirls down to the ring. I was fucking dying. I thought it was the coolest thing. I thought they were gonna completely troll WWE Universe, and Owens, and he was a heel.
Hey man, they take it very seriously, the friends,
Absolutely. But there's a huge dick move by Owens in this situation, which I think it's because we're getting to the point where crowds were sort of supporting him more than WWE would like.
Beck?
Yo.
Yeah, I'm saying, so you love the Festival of Friendship?
I loved I did, and I think that it makes Owens like a hated heel, like a really, really hated heel.
Yep.
Like, because I mean, if you watch his matches, even now a little bit, you get a lot of like the vocal males, sort of like the Smarks, who will cheer for Owens because they like him because they don't want to like John Cena. Of course,
I hate the Smarks.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty fucking annoying.
I hate them all.
That should be interesting. Women's match, triple threat match at the pay-per-view coming up. That should be a fun match. I'm sort of glad they didn't add Nia Jax to it, just because she's never held a title before, and I feel like it would sort of be taken away from the match to have her in there as well.
I was okay with how they booked the whole Bayley thing tonight, making Bayley and Sasha fight, and I'm okay with the three of them going head on head. I think that's cool. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely thought the segment was good.
Yeah, I mean, Stephanie. I'm not really positive on what Stephanie McMahon's relationship is and why she cares so much, but about Charlotte. But I don't have a problem with it at all.
The one thing I had a problem with though is Bayley's promos. Pretty much since she won the championship a couple of weeks ago, her promo last week was really fucking weak. Her promo before pay-per-view seemed really weak. It was just not a very convincing promo.
No, they've given her too much too soon. At least with WWE.
Yeah,
they took away the chase, and I think that's a bad thing.
What's that?
They took away the chase.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought it was going to be, maybe a triple threat match at WrestleMania. She gets it. But yeah, now she's sort of like just I don't want to say a transition, but she's definitely not. It's not. She's not gonna have a WrestleMania moment.
I just don't understand why. Like, I'm still confused on why. I'm confused on why you wouldn't have Strowman lose at WrestleMania if that's where you're going for, and have Bayley win the title at WrestleMania. I mean, those are two big moments they just gave away before WrestleMania. I don't understand. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm giving WWE benefit of the doubt on this. Let them put together matches and see how it turns out. I mean, you can come up with use for Strowman. Maybe
I'm not going to be hypocritical now. I mean, I'm not going to get on the Strowman bandwagon when I haven't been, but I hated his forced push, which a lot of people are claiming is organic. I was annoyed by it to begin with, but my thing is, like, I had to go through all that, so why not invest in it? Like, you can't 50-50 book him. You know what I mean? So I had to go through all that for Roman Reigns to beat him. I mean, come on, man. That's where I have a problem. You know what I mean?
And not just that, then have him punk out when Undertaker comes in.
I know, right? He should have went after Undertaker. He should have been so pissed off about last night. I don't get it. But it is.
Yeah. I mean, WWE, their only chance is giving Strowman like a really good match.
Well, you know what I do like? I loved Neville tonight winning his match against Rich Swann. I was disgusted that he beat my boy Jack Gallagher, but he's been on a run over the last couple of weeks, and then especially the last 24 hours. When Austin Aries was interviewing him and finally snapped and took out Neville, I mean, that was an amazing moment. The crowd dictated that moment. Aries is going to kick Neville's ass, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Austin Aries, he was freaking great at TNA. He's been great at NXT. The one thing I would like to see, though, is I'd like to see some involvement with cruiserweights wrestling non-cruiserweights. Because
me too. I agree with you there.
I feel like, I mean, not anybody huge, but like have like Enzo Amore wrestle like Rick Swann or somebody like that. Because they spent so much time trying to put together these feel-good stories about what's his name, T.J. Perkins and stuff like that. You know what? It's like throw them in with the freaking regular wrestlers and start get a feud going. I mean, like Enzo Amore would be perfect. Neville, I mean, that's brought a lot into the cruiserweight division. Him being the champ because he was NXT champ. He was a solid mid-carder in WWE. And there's already one-sided story. I mean, I remember watching it for the first couple weeks of NXT and not really have an idea who the faces are.
I'll tell you something. I agree with everything you said just there. I have a hard time knowing who's who, and that's a problem all to itself. But I agree with you that if they're on your roster, they're on your roster. And I think once in a while they have to intermingle with one another. You know,
exactly. I wouldn't mind seeing 3 mid-card cruiserweights wrestle Braun Strowman.
No, I'm with you. I mean, you gotta show why they're a different division, even with the sacrifice of themselves. Because the fact that they're in their own division is put over by the fact that they can't compete against your heavyweight division, you know, and that reinforces why there's weight classes, you know. So I'm in agreement with you 100%.
And not only that, but also, I don't like the setup they have for all these live events where they have the different color ropes and the little logo shining on the map or on the screen, stuff like that. Just sort of looks, or no, it's not the screen. I'm sorry, the mat, the wrestling mat. They have like the purple 205 Live logo or logo, whatever it says. But yeah, I think that's sort of.
I'm with you, but the tag team division, they have no hope there, man. No hope.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, they've taken away the best tag team out of the division, or most entertaining tag team out of the division in New Day. It's now selling ice cream.
I'm not liking. I mean, just the club is so bad. Gallows and Anderson are so bad. I mean, they just suck the life off the TV. And then Enzo and Cass are okay, but they got to play off another team, and there's nothing Gallows and Anderson have to offer. And it's Cesaro and Sheamus are great workers, but they're really, really like challenged as a tag team on the mic. I mean, I love them together, but they really need to feed off a good tag team that's been around and established, and you just don't have that with Gallows and Anderson, at least on WWE TV and their character development. It's not working. And their WrestleMania pre-show all the way. Who's ever in that tag team match?
I'm trying to think who was. Wait, are you talking about the pre-show for Fastlane?
No, I'm saying whoever Gallows and Anderson wind up facing at WrestleMania, it's going to be pre-show stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have 4 hours, but I think that's pretty much like most. I'd rather see a Money in the Bank ladder match rather than see a tag team match, any type of tag team match.
What do you think of the transformation of Emelina to Emma?
Dude, you know what? It's still ongoing, man. I can't wait.
So stupid, man. I don't understand all that. I mean, really. Anyway.
Yeah, then again, I think I read on the internet somewhere that they were planning to bring her out and bring her back, and then they're like, wait a second, it's like, we really can't pull this off with her.
Well, yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, Jericho came out during Kevin Owens, Jericho came out for his own segment, and he talked about costing Owens the title. Owens came out, confronted Jericho, and basically said the reason he selected him as his partner is because he's gullible, he's older, and he needed a veteran, and he was the perfect mark. But the minute he took that match with Goldberg, that was when he knew it was time to break the relationship. And he was okay with that, and he spared the career of Jericho at the Festival of Friendship by only beating him down but not totally incapacitating him. But when Jericho decided to stick his nose and cost him the Universal title, that's that. He's going to take him out of WrestleMania. One step further, he asked Jericho for a title shot at WrestleMania. Jericho said, happy to do it. We're booked at WrestleMania. I guess that's something we've all been looking forward to.
That segment. That was a great start to the show. We all knew it was going to happen.
It got the job done, man. It got the job done to get the match booked.
My favorite part of it, though, was Owens coming out. Like, this match is going to happen anyway. And coming out and saying, you want the match, you got to put your title on the line. And Jericho's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it made sense to me.
But, so that was pretty entertaining. The New Day is boring. They have ice cream now. It's supposed to be just cereal.
There's always room for ice cream.
Oh, yeah. I think they're cutting like $20 million worth of the ice cream.
Always room for ice cream. Not sure the payoff in this whole thing, though, I'll be honest with you.
Maybe they'll bring the ice cream bars back. They never got them for CM Punk.
Did they? They never did really bring them back, did they?
No. So that could be that could be their whole work. They're bringing back WWE ice cream bars. I would definitely, if I saw a WWE ice cream bar, I would definitely purchase it.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? I'm excited in general for WrestleMania. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think it's going to be a great pay-per-view, and it should be fun to watch. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm sort of at the point right now where it's just WrestleMania season, sort of cruise control. I'm just going to sit back, like everybody's like has their fantasy booking and loves to talk about, oh man, WWE should have done that, whatever. I'm giving the benefit of that. I just want to see. Put together a good card. Like I know we're gonna have to see Cena versus The Miz and their wives or girlfriends, whatever, in a match. That sucks. But you know what? You can't have. I guess you could have like 6 or 7 matches, but who cares? You don't have one.
Yeah.
Epic match.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Undertaker and whoever wrestling. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. And I don't really understand AJ Styles. I guess he won the right to face him at
I'm confused
right.
by all that, by the way.
What?
The whole SmackDown title situation.
Yeah, it's sort of weird how they have, because like I guess Orton said he didn't want his match to be against Wyatt, and then like 2 weeks later he's like, yeah, wait, I do.
Yeah, I think he changed his mind. I don't know, or he's playing mind games with him, and then he burned his house down. I mean, it was ridiculous. And everybody, and all the smarks are like jacking off to SmackDown. It's like, dude, really? This is what you say is the best stuff on TV? I mean, come on.
And this is your main event to WrestleMania. I mean, I don't mind that match on the upper card somewhere, but this is going to be your main event at WrestleMania, most likely.
Well, Cena really screwed them by the whole thing he's doing, you know?
Yeah.
Which is that Miz match, you know?
Yeah, so I don't know. That's not what I'm looking forward to. But I mean, you have a couple women's championship match, a couple review matches, and that hasn't even gotten into having like a Money in the Bank match for
right.
You know.
Well, it's gonna be an interesting pay-per-view nonetheless. You know what I mean? But I'm ready for it, man. I think it'll be good. I think this was a good show tonight to talk about everything we saw. Anything else we should cover tonight?
Yeah, no, I think we hit pretty much everything, all the main points at least.
I mean, we just didn't. The only thing we didn't bring up, which we could close with, is Samoa Joe. He's obviously getting a huge push, and he beat Jericho tonight by count out, as we saw, and he destroyed Sami Zayn last night, and Sami Zayn got destroyed again by Kevin Owens.
Who do you think he wrestles?
I think as Zayn is on his way down, Joe's on his way up, and WWE's decided they're putting the rocket pack on Samoa Joe. If I had to guess right now, I mean, I still don't think Seth Rollins is ready or will be ready. I actually think it's going to wind up being Samoa Joe versus Triple H or something like that. I know that sounds crazy, but I do. I think somehow that'll happen in 3 weeks. I think Samoa Joe is going to get annoyed being called Triple H's bitch, and something's going to happen next week or the week after, and they're going to have a match.
Wow.
Because I don't think Rollins is really cleared. I think Rollins will be involved in WrestleMania, but I don't think he's really cleared to wrestle. I know he's saying he is, but everything I read on the internet is quite the contrary.
Dude, I have a question for you, man. This is sort of convenient to have when it happened and when it looks like he's going to possibly be able to get ready. Do you think the whole injury is a work?
I initially actually thought it was, and I wouldn't have put that past WWE, but I actually do think that injury is completely legitimate now, and it's serious. It's a serious injury, for sure.
Cool deal. Yeah, I was just wondering about that.
Initially, it seemed weird that happened, and I didn't think it was a legit injury. I thought WWE was trying to space out the wrestlers, so they're not utilizing everybody at the same time, but it's abundantly clear to me that there's something wrong with Seth Rollins.
I think so, but I mean, you almost feel like pretty much ever since the injury took place, they're like, oh, it doesn't look like he's medically cleared, medically cleared. Look how hard he's rehabbing, so he's going to come back to a big pop, but I don't know, it might be like a no holds barred street fight or fight in Seth Rollins' backyard.
The thing is, anytime one of these guys gets one of these injuries, it always seems to catapult their careers when they come back. You know what I mean? It's almost good to be on TV.
Yeah, I hear. I was surprised we didn't get Rusev, but I hear he's getting some time off.
I can see that. I mean, he's been working nonstop for years now. I don't think that's a bad thing. Rusev's a great worker. He's super over, and he could probably use a little time off, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I hear you, Sam. I hear you completely.
Well, that's pretty much the show in a whole tonight. Big Dick, it's always a pleasure to be on this side of the table with you. I enjoyed our time tonight. We are back in the saddle, and we appreciate all the beautiful listeners of the Raw Reactions, and we'll be back. So Kill a Kev, Big Dick, myself, Angry Tensai, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and Big Dick, we'll see you soon, buddy.
Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate it, man. You guys. Good night.
Good night.